After the ball is over, after this game is done, after the die lot's finished, and you are short just one, many a knitter has made a tearful and desperate call, pleading with their local yarn shop, go after that ball.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Pen, Hook, and Needles podcast, episode 303. It is Monday, April 9th, 2018, as we are recording. I am Marlisha, also known as Lady Fernico.
And I am Talia, also known as Franciscan Gypsy. And this is the third Sunday I've worked in a row, which is why
so we are podcasting in the morning. So hopefully it won't be a Sleepy Talia episode.
But you guys love the Sleepy Talia episodes.
Anyway, we want to welcome all new and returning viewers. We thank you for joining us. If you are new, we're glad you found us, and we hope you find something that will keep you coming back. If you are returning, we're glad that you have rejoined us once again for the Fun in the Woman Cave.
Did you determine whether or not the button was actually on?
No, but I'm going to say that if you want to join us officially, I have been informed that the button on YouTube is no longer on the left, but on your right, which is really messing me up. Okay, it's over there. So
wherever it may be, it's somewhere down here.
Down below the podcast frame there.
Ooh.
So press the submit button and then subscribe. And I even thought about it. And then
what are they submitting?
And then ring the bell, okay?
What are they submitting?
Their request.
Their request for what?
To join.
To join what?
What are you, 2? Shannon Horner?
Who?
Never mind. Hopefully she's married and that's not her name anymore. So, a little girl I used to work, my husband and I used to work daycare, his second job, my summer job, and there's a little girl, she was about 2 or 3 in the little group there, and she would come in and we'd say, Shannon, do this, and she'd go, why? You have to do this? Why? Why? So every time we have something like a what or a why question like that, we always say Shannon Horner. So hopefully, she's probably in her 40s now, so hopefully she's married and doesn't have that name and won't remember us.
I'm pretty sure she's not watching knitting podcasts.
It would be pretty funny if she was a knitting podcast. And my mom always used to say that I did that. But anyway, I digress.
That would be like crazy weird.
Oh, things like that happen. Anyway,
Yes.
Stop. I have to get my thoughts back. Okay. If you are in the shadows,
I'm trying to keep my energy up because if I keep my energy up, even if it's annoying, I may just stay awake.
If you are in the shadows, please do feel free to join us in the Ravelry group, where you'll be eligible for prizes and give-alongs and things like that.
Give-alongs?
A lot of
what's a give-along?
A lot of camaraderie and
give-alongs
and support and that kind of stuff. And you might see mayhem if she doesn't stop. Because I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, so I'm having a hard time keeping my thoughts together.
I like give-alongs.
Good, then you can start giving things, like a little peace and quiet.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Overrated. Peace and quiet equals Sleepy Talia episode.
Maybe I'll have some sense in this podcast instead of jumbled words. Anyway, if you join the podcast
and the give-along,
you will be eligible for prizes and giveaways, and there's a lot of support and camaraderie. It's a great group, okay? And like I said, please do feel free to join the YouTube group officially, so we know that you're there. We'd love to know that. We have a new member. Her name, is Theater Jess. Hi, Jess, and I believe that Jess might be from my Facebook Dyers group. So, Jess, it's nice to see you.
Oh, she sat there. It's like, Theatre, Jess?
Yes.
It's like, no, it's
so,
theater.
Jess, it's great to see you. Please pop in and say hi. We'd love to hear from you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What is in your mug?
I don't have a mug today. Today is a special day for the church. It is the solemnity of the Annunciation of the Lord. So I'm having my special tea in my big mug.
Your big mug.
Mm-hmm.
And in my...
And for those of you who like the banter back and forth about the tea, sorry about that.
Yes.
We had the banter already.
I really should have an Annunciation mug, but I do not. I don't even own a mug like that. Anyway, this is the I Fight for Dysautonomia Awareness mug.
I don't have a Holy Family mug.
Yeah, we need to fix that.
We do.
You need a Holy Family one, and I need a
Annunciation.
Annunciation. I was like, I actually lost the word. I'm like, Anyway, in my mug, I was gonna say in my Plum Deluxe
mug. Yes, I was waiting. I could see it. The words were forming in her brain, going through the cogs. P-L-U, and in purple.
And, well, of course, what other color would it be in? But T would be orange.
Yeah, but I hadn't gotten that far.
Yeah. So,
this is the orange.
I don't go touching your shirt.
Orange.
Blue. See, we know our colors.
Go on.
Okay, Plum Deluxe Tea. You should be wearing purple right now.
No.
I guess that's close enough.
I'm blue.
Blue? Anyway,
blah, da.
Plum Deluxe Tea, and this is Winter Comfort Chai Tea.
Ooh, yummy.
Spicy, comforting like a favorite blanket. Pair with winter rituals and traditions, and gingerbread. So this is honeybush tea, cinnamon, orange peel, ginger, cardamom, allspice, clove, black pepper, calendula. Flavor essence, joy, gratitude, has caffeine. So, I needed a little bit of caffeine, and I don't care if it says winter on it.
Well, still, we're supposed to get snow today.
It's winter in my soul.
Why?
Cuz.
Why?
Cuz.
Why?
Cuz.
Why?
Cuz.
Why?
Cuz.
Oh.
There you go.
Let me just clear the palette a little bit here.
Palette cleansing. Cleansing.
Yep.
Whatever cleansing is.
Cleansing?
Cleansing.
Smells good.
I don't know, I can't smell it. I'm sure it does.
That's good. It's not real strong. It's
no,
light
it's not
tea.
very strong.
Very light tea. It's not a very hot tea in terms of the heat, the temperature.
No. Wait, temperature isn't hot.
Mm-mm.
I wonder why not. Because it was boiling, and I put it on the warmer. Yeah.
Doesn't it feel like it's warm and not hot? I thought that was just the temperature it was supposed to be at.
No. If you take a bigger sip, you get a little bit more of the heat.
Because I was talking to my husband. We went to a restaurant out in town, and the last couple times we've gone to this place, you order something that's supposed to be hot, and it comes back warm. And it's really annoying. I don't like warm soup, and I don't like my main dish to be just warm. I want it to be hot. So I'm not a picky eater, but I do want it to be hot, and I started getting annoyed because it seems like it's happening more and more, where I don't know if they just leave it on the counter until everything comes, or what, but just it annoys me. Anyway.
I might have to start doing my cap thing on top.
Again, yeah. Okay, we still have the coupon code for Lady Fiona Co-Creations. It's in the thread. It will be in the show notes for 15% off, and this is good until June 30th, which is the end of the Autism Awareness Cal. Okay? And I want to say that the shipments have started going off for the pre-orders for that Cal. You can't. It's okay to be different and see the potential. I have 2 orders that I've not heard from the people yet, but I'm sure they'll get back to me soon. But all the others have gone off, so I may be dyeing up more of that later. But right now, I'm sorry?
Who knows?
Who knows, yes. So, in any event, there is a coupon code. It's good on all my yarns, not just the Autism Awareness yarn. Okay. Before I go into other groups, I had a very nice message from Debbie, who is Deb's Destiny. And I hope I get this right. If I don't, look in the threads, okay? But Debbie contacted me. First of all, she gifted me her lovely stained glass
And I
shawl.
haven't been on Rav enough to respond. Thank you, Deb.
I think it's a shawl. It's not a poncho. It's a shawl, right?
I haven't looked at it.
Okay. Anyway,
I believe it is a shawl.
It's just out of testing, I think. It's really nice.
I wanted to I saw when it came up as testing, and I wanted to test it, but I didn't think I could keep up with the
And
test.
that's what I told her. I couldn't keep up with the test. And right now I have too many things to start it right away, but it looks really pretty. I have several of her patterns. But the pattern, let me see if I can remember. It's the stained glass cape, so it's a cape. And okay, I think this is the same pattern. She's donating 2 of those, one for each of 2 lucky winners for the autism awareness. And she's donating 2 more just for lucky winners.
Oh, nice.
So we're going to have a thread for that, okay? Thank you very much, Debbie.
Thank you.
Then, as if that were not enough, because Debbie's super generous, she is having a boho, which is a BOGO, buy one, get one free.
Oh, okay.
And the code will be in the thread, okay, because it's for our members. And what you do is you pick up a pattern, and the second one, I guess, of lesser value, equal or lesser value probably, is going to be free. And that is good, I think, until the end of April. I have to check my notes. But Debbie has been extremely generous to our group. She has some wonderful patterns. And, you know, if you're looking for something new to do, you know, that stained glass, if you did it bright blue and then the multicolors, that could go for the autism awareness.
Yeah.
You know, if you can make it story themed, do one that reminds you of Notre Dame for the Hunchback of Notre Dame or something.
Or of the Beauty and the Beast.
Right. So there's a lot of things. Debbie has some wonderful patterns. She has a Ravelry shop. Her name is Debbie Hostis. And I don't know if her patterns are under Deb's Destiny or Debbie Hostis. But thank you very much, Debbie, for your generosity. And we are giving you the information. The code for the BOGO will be in our thread. And I will start a thread for the giveaways as soon as I get some time. And I'll list the other 2 in the Autism Awareness prize offerings. So thank you, Debbie, very much. Okay. And please check out their podcast. That's Never Cast Off with Debbie and with Sheila, who is Blue Yarn Always.
Yes.
And her Etsy's group is Thank God for Bags. I always want to say Never Enough Bags, but it's Thank God for Bags. Okay. Now, and I should write Deb's Destiny and Blue Yarn Always. Okay, now, moving on. We have heard from several of you who have won prizes. We need to hear from the rest of you, please, okay? Because you have about, we only just now told you we have, what, 3 weeks?
Yeah.
So, get back to us as soon as you can so we can get the prizes out. Talia's on a work stretch starting tomorrow, so we probably won't start again.
Well, actually, it's kind of started this weekend.
Right, because today's the only day out, off she has.
Yeah.
So until when? When do you work? You work till
I work
Thursday?
Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I have Thursday, Friday. I have Saturday off, but Saturday I have the cardiovascular conference.
Right, and Daddy said that he, you know, we'll talk about that.
Okay, and then I'm off Sunday, Monday.
Right. Oh, awesome. Okay. So it'll probably be toward that end that the prizes start going out. Okay. In the other groups, Harry Potter Cal with Maureen, who is Victorian Studio, is still going on. I have not been able to, I didn't have a lot of time to look in all the other groups this time around, but it was going strong last time I looked, and it's always a lot of fun. They have another challenge going on. I think it's something about your favorite character. So they have prizes for the along itself. They do like little special things. I think it's based on the Harry Potter cup or whatever. I don't know.
You see, I'm one of those people who's just like, how can I determine my favorite character? I like this about this one and that about this one.
Yeah, I usually have a favorite character or two, but
I mean, I guess if you're talking about for a specific thing.
Right.
But if you say like, of all characters.
No, this is for Harry Potter, of course.
Ah, okay. Yeah, because usually for one book you can't pick out one person. Or one series.
By virtue of the fact that the only one I know anything about in any way, shape, or form is Hedwig. So that would be who it is. So I don't feel like I can put anything in there. So
right. Well,
but anyway,
you don't even.
I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
So okay, so that's going on still, and that goes all year. And the rules are in her group. And this is Victorian Studio Podcast, wonderful podcast. The Year of the Socks Cal is crocheting Hoovian, and that is Laura Concert. and that's also going on all year, and it's socks, of course. So rules are in her group, another wonderful podcast, and I'm looking forward to her next one, because it's been a while since she's podcasted, I think about a couple, 3 weeks. And I know she's had a lot going on, so I just keep watching with bated breath as she gets one up there.
With breath that is baited?
The breath that is baited. And then the Never Gonna Knit You Up Cal Cal is the Bakery Bears podcast, and that's Kay and Dan. And that is those skeins of yarn or sock blanks that you just can't quite bear to use, or you don't know what to use it for. And that's what you do for this, okay? And I'm not sure how long that one's going on. But
just watch, it's like already done.
No, it's still going on, because
Okay.
I mentioned it in the last podcast.
Okay.
Heidi's along, her slipper sock is done. And Undead Yarns socks, shorty socks, I think is still going on in her group. And then we have two that are not podcasters. That is Bee's Knees, who is Studio Von Design, and Comforting Crafts, which is Brittany. They are doing their own, I think it's just for fun.
Yeah.
And it's the 18 hats for 2018. That's Brittany in her Comforting Crafts. And then in Vonnie's, Bee's Knees, it is the 18 toys.
Now, I've actually done a personal challenge for myself. I want to get those 18 hats done.
Yeah, I'm trying to do that as well. The toys are a little harder on my hands, but with the looms, I might be able to
Yeah,
get the hat.
but for some reason, this year, I don't feel quite as inclined to do the toys right now.
Mm-hmm.
I feel the crochet more right now. Not that it actually hurts, but I can feel it more.
Yeah, and my hands are so cranky right now. What I will be able to crank out is the loom hats.
Mm-hmm.
So I will probably try that. But I'm going to put stuff into Vonnie's when I finish.
Mm-hmm.
If I finish stuff, it'll go into Vonnie's, because I do want to participate in that. And I love toys.
I don't usually go
Honestly.
this long without making a toy.
Yeah, and I love making toys.
Mm-hmm.
So they may be smaller, they may be simpler, and they may be fewer, because right now my hand hurts when I crochet. Although the crocheting of a toy is much better than, say, a blanket or anything that has like the bibbity bobbity, or the
Bibbity bob. Were you about to say bibbity bobbity boo?
blanket? Yes, the bobbing along blanket that I'm doing, I have to do.
Also known as the bibbity bobbity boo blanket.
It's a little harder because it's got 3 stitches in one. So instead of doing,
Well, there you go. That's the 3 fairies, Mom.
yeah, in case you do the 3 stitches, if you did 3 stitches, you're actually doing 9. So it's a little harder on my hands. But that's a long way. And I think I mentioned everybody. Oh, I forgot the Never Cast Off podcast does have something ongoing. And I think it's sort of like a stash reduction thing. And you have to check their podcast group to see what it is. But it sounds like a lot of fun. And I don't have the brain power to keep track of everything right now. So I am not doing that. But I think it's great. And I have to pop in there and see what's going on, because I get enabled, Okay. Now, moving on to current, the Autism Awareness Cal. And it's also known as the It's Okay to Be Different Cal, and this is like our 5th or 6th one that we've done. So it's 6th because I think it's 6th.
No, it would be no more than 5th, because we haven't even been podcasting 6 years yet. We'll be podcasting 6 years May 15th.
Right.
We have not done the autism awareness longer than we've been podcasting.
I'm trying to think. Okay, well whatever about it.
I'm right.
We've done it a long time.
I'm right.
Anyway, let's see, what was I going to say about this?
That Talia is right?
No. The reason that we started this, I trained as a special educator, and most of you know that we have a daughter on the spectrum, so this is very important to us. When we first started, was this the first one I wanted to do? I think this was.
It was, but we didn't do it first.
We did the toy long
We did the toy long first. Yeah. That's why this year we'll be going on our 6th toy along,
right.
But that's why we're only on our 5th autism awareness.
This was the one I really, really wanted to do because of that. And I did want to say a little something about autism. And I say this every year, so I'm going to read it right off my notes. But what autism is a complex developmental disability that typically appears during the first 3 years of life and affects a person's ability to communicate and interact with others. Davina was almost textbook in terms of when it started appearing. She had night terrors and stuff a little younger, like around 2, but we thought that with a new baby coming and my husband going on a remote tour and things like that, that might have impacted her, emotional stability as a 2.5, 3-year-old. But by the time she was 3, her preschool teacher had noticed like inability to follow simple directions, and she would wander, and she, we have videotapes somewhere of her taking part in a little preschool thing where she just kind of does her own thing. And the preschool teacher was right on the ball, and she suggested we have her tested. They didn't know what it was because Asperger's and autism, well, Asperger's, not necessarily autism, Asperger's had not been widely known. It took them about, 5 years or 4 years to get her accurately diagnosed with Asperger's. They went everything from Fragile X to developmental delays to PDD to, just all kinds of stuff. She went through the gamut of testing. But she did have the hallmarks of the pedantic language and the kind of stilted social interaction and things like that. She spoke on time. She was not one of these who did not speak. She used to speak for Talia when she was younger, so Talia didn't speak until she was like 2.
But I did do complete sentences.
Yes. I almost dropped all my packages up on the 3rd floor because she said, "Mommy, open the door." And she never said anything but mom and dad and want up or whatever. So came out with a complete sentence. Because Davina always talked for her. Talia wants this, Talia wants that. But everything was very stilted and very formal. For a long time she would say things like, the personal pronouns were still a little bit mixed up. Like, we would say, "Davina, you don't want to do that." And she'd say, "You don't want to?" instead of "I don't want to." She would say, "You don't want to." And that stuck for a little longer than was probably average. Let me see here. I'm trying to think here. Okay, autism is defined by a certain set of behaviors and is a spectrum disorder, as I mentioned. Davina is Asperger's. And this affects...
Or has Asperger's.
Has Asperger's. And, there are kind of like the degrees of mental retardation where you have the different levels. There are different levels of, autism. Okay.
And autism is a social...
it has a social component.
It's a very strong social component.
Yeah.
Where you can see other things like the developmental delays, but that's a different diagnosis on top of the...
And I'd be interested on seeing research because I've noticed that it seems like a lot of the autistic spectrum kids do have other, auxiliary kinds of things going on, like developmental delays or ADD or, some to have lower intellectual capacity, but not necessarily any of those.
Right, because there can be people who have autism who the social might be a struggle for them, but they are able to function mostly fine on their own.
Right.
It's just that the social is, and it's not just like a social disconnect. Not like say you're just a little bit socially awkward. No, it's more than that.
Yeah, they don't quite get the cues.
Yeah,
they don't get the cues. I mean, and obviously it's more severe as you get severe. Yeah. It's very hard for some.
It gets out overdiagnosed.
Yes, I think my own personal and some of you who work in the special ed field actively can tell me better, but I kind of tend to feel like if they don't know what to do with people, they kind of throw them in there like they did with ADD several years ago, and that's a shame because then it overburdens people who are dealing with the autistic spectrum, and it also means that those people who are being thrown in there aren't getting the right care.
Right.
So. And I'm sorry, we're kind of veering off what I wanted to say, but that's the nature of me doing something like this. My mind goes all over the place. There's no single cause that is autism that is known, but there are very varying. There's funding that is allowing for research to help families, and I'm finding that it's a lot harder to find when you have children. In the school system up to about 22 or 21, then you can find services. But once you hit adulthood, I'm finding that it's a lot more difficult to find things for autistic spectrum support. And The prevalence, this is a few years back, the prevalence of autism has risen to 1 in every 88 births in the United States and almost 1 in 54 for boys. For some reason, it's more prevalent in boys.
But again, those numbers, you can't be sure if it's either people, that more people know about it and hence it's being diagnosed more, or if it's actually more cases, or because people are more aware of it, more people are coming forward and being tested for it. You know, it's just, is it because there's actually more people having it? Or I
think it's probably a mixture of both. I know there's a school of thought out there that has something to do with, like, I've seen things having to do with medications or vitamins. I don't believe that necessarily. I don't completely discount birth trauma or things in the air maybe that we weren't exposed to before. But I also think there's better diagnosis. I am curious as to why it's more boys than girls. It seems like a lot of the spectrum disorders are more boys than girls. Okay. And April is officially the Autism Awareness Month, but the CalCal does run through the end of June because I want to give people a chance to do as much as they can without stressing out their hands or their minds or whatever. This is supposed to be fun. Okay? All right. Now, okay, so as I said, this began April 1st, and it will go through June 30th, and they can be started any time. The projects can. But they must be worked on and or finished between April 1st and June 30th. 1 WIP per project per week, and the FO whenever it's finished. And WIPs and FOs will be eligible for prizes. Okay? Please tag your projects, PHN AA 2018 on Ravelry, and hashtag PHN AA 2018 on Instagram if you choose to post on Instagram. Okay, and we have two co-hosts and 1 supporting group. Okay, we have Crocheting Hoovian, who is Laura, and she's done this with us for several years, and that's Crocheting Hoovian podcast. And we have Cappy from the Yarn and I Cappy. And Ren, I haven't had a chance to get a hold of Cappy yet, but I saw that she's still at Stitches West. At least she was through Sunday, so she wouldn't see my message anyway. But she hasn't got a thread up yet, but she is our second co-host. And then the supporter group is the Lumalong CalCal group. I guess the Lumalong group, a LAL group. And they do loom projects, and they have linked to us, and they are encouraging their members to join in with this, which is really amazing. We're glad about that, so we're really appreciative of that. And that, the 2 moderators I know from that group are Mom Cook, who is Renee, and Round and Round I Go, who is Beth. And I believe that Beth works with special needs children. So,
were we going to, like, use Beth, like, we were going to steal her brain or something?
Yes,
I thought we were supposed to do that.
We are, Beth, so you have been forewarned, so you are forearmed. We are probably going to pick your brain. So, yes. Or you can just post something in the group if you want to avoid all the pricks and pokes and for Beth.
It makes me think of something that a patient's family member said. For some reason, we were joking that he was a zombie, and he's like, well, I'm a very hungry zombie. It's not going to survive very long because I live here in this town.
Oh,
because he eats brains.
Oh, right.
It was like, wow, that was a good zinger.
Wow.
Because it took a second.
Obviously, he felt well.
Oh, he wasn't the one who was the patient.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Okay. So anyway, where was I?
It was a great zinger, though.
You can triple dip, and if you're doing the Loom Knit group, you can quadruple dip for this CalCal once Cappy gets her group up, her thread up. And let me see. They must be...
Laura's watching us.
Oh, she is?
Yeah, on Instagram.
But that's not this one. This is the...
This is the...
Oh, we were measuring our hands.
Yes.
Okay. Now you keep getting me off track.
Well, that was worth...
It was. Anyway.
I actually got in here to try to see how many stitches I needed to cast on for my blanket. But,
what was I saying?
I don't know. I wasn't listening.
And that's one of the words. Thank you very, very much for all the words. Some of them were like, oh yeah, that's right. And some like, oh yeah, we do say that, don't we? So keep them coming. We're going to get them all together.
I have a story about, a lot of people mentioned the ums, and I know I do a lot of those. Right there. But there was a coworker of mine, a former coworker of mine, who used to count up all my fillers, and he would wait until I was on the phone with a patient's family member and couldn't kill him, and then he would be counting up all my fillers every time I said or anything like that, and he knew that I just wanted to tell him to shut up or something, but I couldn't.
Shut up, Wesley.
So,
reference.
Because I was sitting there trying to sound professional and trying not to sound like I was laughing with the family member. So, and he would get to double digits and he'd keep going. I'm just like, you're such a jerk.
Yeah, I miss having him there. I liked it when he was there to work with Talia. But anyway, okay. The projects should be blues or bright colors. I have neglected to say blues, but obviously, the color blue, since one of the colorways is blue and autism awareness is blue.
Mm-hmm. Ow, that hurts.
But do keep the blues on the bright end, please. So bright colors, about 75-80% bright colors. And then if you want to have other colors as accents, that's fine. If it's more than that, we're not going to go with a ruler on the screen and try to figure it out. If it looks good to you, we're going to take your word for it. If it's kind of obvious to us that it's not, then we'll move it to the show off thread where we can ooh and ah of it there, okay? Yeah, there's my ums. I don't do quite as much as
No,
Talia,
she really doesn't do quite as much. I've always known I had a problem with fillers.
Let's see here. Daddy teases you about that sometimes.
He does. And I've decided that I unfortunately don't care.
We have several prizes for the whips and the FOs, but before I'm not going to go into those. What I do want to say is that we have featured patterns and we have featured yarn. The featured patterns are Talia's toys, and as long as they're bright colored, Laura Concert's Hufflepuff pattern, and well, any of Laura's, I keep saying Hufflepuff, but any of Laura's designs.
How many does she have?
2. A hat and a Hufflepuff. Those are both eligible for 2 chances at a prize for the FO if it's bright. My yarn, bright colored, the Autism Awareness yarn, or any of my bright colored yarn, 2 chances for a prize for the finished object. And if you do the bright yarn, oh, and Cappy's yarn, because she's the other co-host, her bright yarn is 2 chances of a prize for finished object. And if you marry either my yarn or Cappy's with one of Ty's patterns or Laura's patterns, or what's the name, Amy? What's Amy's? She does the bear and the lapgan. Then that's a featured pattern as well.
Oh, I don't remember.
I can't remember her name.
Don't you have her in there?
I don't know if I put it in here yet. We talked about her last week. Her name is Amy. Yes, something World. Miss World.
Yes,
Miss World. She does the weighted lapgan and teddy. Either you do one or both. I don't care. We don't care. But if you do both, they're eligible separately as a finished object. And she also has the ratty teddy, I think is what it's called. Those 3 patterns of hers.
It wasn't called ratty. It was Tatty. As I said, I was pretty sure it wasn't called ratty.
It's adorable. I love it. But anyway, and her pattern.
Gosh, Mom, was that like a Freudian slip or something? Called
her patterns, Amy,
Gosh.
who is Miss World, her patterns as well, 2 chances for a prize. And if they're married with the featured yarns, 3 chances for a prize. And I hope you got all that because Talia was going at the mouth. But anyway, Nimble Baby Blanket is Limnet, and that's by Mom Kick. Now you say, Renee, I put here, you can slap my hand.
Did you call her Mom Kick?
It's your fault. Mom Cook, Renee Van Hoy, she has done, there's
I kind of like Mom Kick.
Renee, you can come over and kick her boot to the head. Her loom knit pattern that is called the Nimble Baby Blanket. That is also 2 chances for a prize, 3 in my yarn or Cappy's bright yarn. And
it's by Mom Cook, who's very fondly known as Mom Kick every once in a while.
Renee, we hug you. Okay, so
please don't kick us.
boot to Talia's head, Renee. Okay, and that's Mom Cook,
AKA
Amy, who is Miss World. All right, and I'm sorry. I apologize for my tongue tidiness, but it's really not my fault because she's getting me off track.
How does this become my fault?
Because it is, according to one very snarky individual. Okay, so we got that. And we have several prizes that I'm not going to go through this time because we went through it last week and the week before. But suffice to say, we have several prizes. Our donators are extremely generous. Our donators thus far are Looney Hiker, Cappy, Victorian Studio, and Ann Brody from Silver Shed. So, and I think, oh, and we have one from Laura Smoot. I think that's where we got the
thing?
The pill.
Oh, yes.
So, and there may be a couple others, which is why I don't want to go over them in depth, because I have not had a chance to really look at my show notes.
And I'm just looking up. I can't remember how many stitches I did for this square, and I'm trying to start my next square.
Okay, now for the Tea and Tails.
It is 45. Okay.
The Tea and Tails Cal. This is a year-long Cal. I'm loving all the stuff I'm seeing. I've fallen behind in there, but I'm loving all the activity and the chatter and the support. This is anything that is related to Tea and Tails. It's our first year-long Cal, and it's anything, like I said, related to tea and or tales, a book, a novel, a play that's been novelized, graphic novels, I guess, novel, what do they call it? Narrative poetry, epic poetry, like their actual stories, like Beowulf or something like that. I think actually Canterbury Tales might fall into that.
I think that's an actual prose.
Is it?
Yeah. Now, what about, what is it, The White Horse? Or it's about the
G.K. Chesterton.
Yeah.
I haven't read it, so I don't know. I have my book. I haven't read it yet.
I know I read it in college when I was doing a couple of summer classes in order to lighten my load from the nursing program, but I can't. I know I read it, but I don't remember much about it.
I have to read it. I do have the book, because I meant to read it, but I haven't had a chance, and that's on my list. I don't know if that's poetry or not. Is it?
I can't remember. I feel like it might have been.
If any G.K. Chesterton people out there, do you know if that would be considered narrative poetry or epic poetry that can, be considered?
I'm sure that some of the Arthurian things. Not all of it, because my Morte d'Arthur is not.
Right. But I would love to find. I know Father Brown wears a scarf or something. I would love to know what that is. I think it's a scarf. Father Brown is a Chesterton detective and priest.
But I don't think there's. It's probably a very plain, nondescript scarf.
It's probably striped. They usually tend to be, or it might be marled or marbled. Okay, anyway, that's neither here nor there. Okay. And this,
you see, the one I liked is the one by Ellis Peters. I like Father Brown.
That's Cadfael.
But I really like Cadfael.
Brother Cadfael is amazing.
I think part of why I like it is because it's set during medieval times.
Kay and Dan, have you read the Cadfael mysteries?
Kay would probably love the
Dan might like it. Dan might like it because it's got the historical stuff in it.
Yeah.
And he's starting to read what he's calling beach fiction. He said, "Is that really chick lit?" And she said, "Oh, I don't know, because I'm a bloke. I don't read chick lit." And if I misquoted you, Dan, I apologize.
Kay, and actually anyone who likes Poirot and those kind of things, I really enjoy the Brother Cadfael. I haven't read all of them, but
I have all. I've read several of them, and I have the DVD with Derek Jacobi?
I actually haven't finished watching it because I don't want it to ruin my mental images for the book.
Well, I started with the movies when we were stationed in England. And when I came back home, my youngest sister, asked me what I want for Christmas. I said, "Can you get me a set of the Ellis Peters
Brother
Cadfael mysteries?" And so she got me like a starter set, I think like 8 or 10 books. And Kay and Dan, you were asking about things to read. Check that out.
That is, we'll have to
check that out.
Because Brother Cadfael is set, the second book, I always think it was the first book because it's the first one in the show.
Right.
Is set during Stephen and
Maud.
Well, they say Maud, but it's her name in history wasn't Maud. It was Mildred. I think it was Mildred. Anyway, it was Matilda, the Empress Matilda. It was
Matilda.
Matilda and Stephen are fighting over England at this point.
Right.
Over who will be the ruler.
Right. So it all takes place against that backdrop.
So it takes place against that backdrop, and it feels like medieval England. If you like medieval history, you'll like it. If you like a good, cozy mystery, you'll like it. So we're going to message Dan and Kate because that's up both of their alleys.
And thank you, Dan, for the suggestions about the ones that you're reading, because he said there's no language, there's no dirty bits, and there's so like yes, no dirty bits, no language, yay! So that made me happy. So I have to go back and check the show notes for the 2 books he just finished reading, because he said neither one of them has anything. So I don't usually read bestsellers because I don't like the language and the dirty bits. So they stick in my head and make me very uncomfortable.
So after that long, absolutely not related
okay.
thing.
All right, so the projects must be knit, loom knit, or crocheted, hence the cal-cal-lao. Previous whips are allowed, but they must be worked on during the time period. Chatter and pictures and everything will be in the same thread. Well, okay, I said that already. It's basically the same way as we normally run our cal-cals.
Yeah, you guys know how it
you know how it is. And you know, Franciscan Gypsy Designs FOs, and Lady Fernicle Creations yarn FOs will be eligible for 2 chances at a prize. Laura Concert's Hufflepuff will be eligible for 2 chances at a prize. Also, Joanna Johnson's, any of Joanna Johnson's knit, tea and tail related, mostly tail related, projects that are finished, her Anne of Green Gables, Sherlock Holmes, all that kind of stuff, they will be eligible for 2 chances at a prize. Mom Cook's tea and tails related patterns will be eligible for 2 chances at a prize as well. And if you once again marry my yarn to any of those projects, 3 chances at a prize. Always multiple postings. You're responsible for your own. Just make sure that the ball band. I think I can recognize my yarn, but you know, for other people who maybe want to know what that yarn is, please put the ball band there. And we are working on the 2nd quarter now. We gave out the 1st quarter prizes last week. So the 2nd quarter prizes will be going from post 949 to wherever we end up at the end of, what is it, June? April, May, June, the end of June. So, and that's for Plum Deluxe Tea and a skein of yarn that Margaret, who is Fiber Hermit, donated. Okay, so that's cool. Okay, let me see here. I think we're finally 40 minutes in with the road less traveled.
Now, you know, full podcast later, let's go and talk about the knitting.
Yes. If you guys want to hear about the knitting, or have you already left? Okay. But I did do autism awareness.
This is a knitting podcast.
Progress, huh?
Progress.
All right. You had how many?
I have 5.
I think I have 7.
You do.
Okay, so I'm going to start. That's why I had to go first with my tea, right?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. Let me see here. Okay, the first one I have is a new project, and it's in my Kiki Boo Bags Holiday Owls bag. And she has a shop now. I was watching her on Instagram. I follow her on Instagram, and she now has a space where she's vending, but I don't think it's like a fiber festival. I think it's an actual craft place. So that's kind of cool. Congratulations, Denise.
This cat keeps trying to attack me.
My cats do not attack.
Well, considering the fact this is a cat I made.
What's Denise?
Knitting Den.
Knitting Den. Okay. I don't know if she's still podcasting or not. Okay, here it is. I'm using the Preemie Baby Loom, and I'm using blue and gray, and I think I have the ball band in here somewhere. Let me see. Yes, I do. This is Heartland, Lion Brand Heartland. It's the same yarn as I used for the other one, in terms of the yarn itself. And the color is...
I feel like my legs are trying to fall asleep.
Olympic? I'm not sure if Olympic's the blue or the gray, because I don't have the band for the other one. I think the other one, the gray, is actually an unknown yarn.
I was going to say, I think the blue would be Olympic.
I thought the blue was Glacier, but I guess it's Olympic. So you can see I've gotten a little bit done on this. And the yarns are blue and gray, as you can see.
Excuse me, guys.
And I like working on these because they don't hurt my hands too much. They get finished relatively quickly, and I feel like I accomplished somebody. And babies get to What is your major malfunction?
Hiccups.
Somebody scare her. There we go.
I'm here with you.
Okay.
It's scary.
Here we go. So that's that. And I think I have one more to show.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Put this in here. Okay. So that's one. And my next one is... Oh, another Kiki-Boo bag. And Sue, I've made progress. This is in my Kiki-Boo Puzzle Pieces bag.
Is it discernible progress?
It is.
Oh.
Look, I put a marker because it was bugging me. And I was actually talking to Missy out of VKN on Saturday, I think it was.
Oh, you did get in?
I did. Hi, Missy. And I forget what her Rav name is, but she does watch. And I said, I need to put a marker here because I'm getting frustrated. I made my 3 inches. I have like maybe 2 rows
Did
to
you?
do. See, this is where I started on Sunday, and by the time I finished talking to Missy, that's where I ended.
So it's the Missy inches.
Missy inches. So I'm almost, I think I have another couple of, it's a couple of rows, but I guess it's one knit stitch. You know, we go back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
So I have like maybe one or
It's
two
a garter.
of those.
It's one garter.
One garter ridge.
Ridge.
Maybe one, possibly 2. And then I can go in, and I have to have you look at the pattern because I'm not sure what it's saying.
Okay.
But, so I made progress, Sue. I just sat down and did it. I sat down and did it.
Did you even work on it last week?
Yeah,
I can't
Sunday.
remember. No, wait, what?
I worked on it yesterday.
No, last week. Like, not, I mean, before last podcast.
No. I didn't want to. I was mad at it.
Oh, okay. It was in timeout.
Yep. So I'm using US 3s, and the color is the Shire colorway in the Mad Tosh DK, and you can see this is getting very small. So
Almost time to break into another skein.
almost. So I'm excited about this. This one's almost off the needles, sort of. It depends on how long they want me to go with the decreases and stuff. Might be ready to poke my eye out. Okay.
You'll poke your eye out.
Another reference. Okay, your turn.
Okay, let me transfer that back over to the other needle.
I think I'm going to do, Kay was showing about the 4 square one, where you put a border around it. And I think that's what I want to do. 4 squares and then a border.
Well, this is the one with the border.
No. 4 squares and then a border.
You spat on me.
I did not, in fact.
You totally
I
spat
did not,
on
in
me.
fact. No,
That
I
was
didn't.
disgusting.
I did not, in fact.
I don't spit on you.
I did not, in fact. You shouldn't make up things.
You spat.
1, 2, 3, 4, and then around. So
that would work too. So, in my Plover Bird Kissing Bunnies bag, which I shall show you, is my Just a Little Chilly mitered square Afghan, and I'm using Scrap Sport DK and worsted weight yarns, and it grows slowly but surely. I mean, the squares are larger, so it's a 55 count. It seems to take forever at times. Of course, you know, when you don't necessarily work on it, it doesn't grow. Amazing how that works. I think like the 35 or the 45 count is magical. The 35 count is the ginormous blanket. But I finished this villainous square and started this random square. So I think this was the yarn, some yarn I picked up at last Maryland Sheep and Wool. So it did get some work. But it won't grow unless I really work on it.
Okay. My next one is in my, I think it's in my Plover Bird sheet bag. Let me check. It is in my Plover Bird sheet bag. This is the Happiness is a Rainbow project, and this is my own pattern. And I made some pretty good progress on this the other day. And this is Mandela yarn, the DK weight. It's really starting to bunch up on the needles, and I have gone through I made it to the yellow just barely.
Yay!
You can see here. I've just
Yeah, you can start seeing it.
So
it's a very citrusy kind of color thing.
Until you hit the blues.
Yeah.
Here we go. See, I'm in the yellow, and then it goes green, kind of a bright green, a blue, kind of a tealy, greeny, something or other, and then kind of maybe a more olive, and then a purple. You can see for yourself there.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really showing up completely accurate, but
well, yeah, it's hard to pick up all those
it's close
slight
enough.
changes.
But I've got quite a bit of yellow going on, so I should be in the yellow for a while unless I just decide to sit and knit on this. But Davina started looking at this and her eyes start popping out, so we'll see if this actually goes to her. I wish you could see the color here better.
They can see that the yellow's there.
There. It's just the first row. I mean, I kept talking. My husband was making his lunch for today last night, and I was sitting there and I was saying, I need to get to the yellow. And I finally got to the yellow. So that's that.
So,
there's a polka dots inside, not the
dotted Swiss.
dotted Swiss.
So not the dotted. What's the difference?
It was something that they used in fabrics in the 60s and 70s.
But like, what's the difference between a dotted Swiss and just a normal dotted interior
I'm not
fabric?
sure. I think it's smaller.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. I was a kid and I never was interested enough to find out. I just knew that what it was called because Grandma used to say it.
Oh, okay. So, in my in my Plover Bird Creepy Llamas bag is a secret project.
Okay.
Bam.
Let's see here. In my... What bag am I using? My Plover Bird Pink Teacups bag. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Okay. It fell.
It fell down?
In my pink and purple teacups bag and teapots and such. Tea party. I should just call it the tea party bag. I see tea party. I see Indians throwing the tea off the boat in Boston. Okay, this is my Sherwood shawl from the TGV high-speed knitting pattern by Susan Ashcroft, and I'm using US 10s, actually 10 and a halves, knit pick circulars. I need to get. Oh, I'm not.
What?
I did get my my Talgoos. I just haven't changed it. Okay, and the Handspun by Laura Smoot, and I only did a couple rows on this because I was working on other things. But there it is. I love the way this is turning out. I'm trying to think. I think this is the top. Is that right?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think this is the top.
This is the top, yeah.
So it looks like this. And I just love the colors on this. And I just have to be careful not to pick up, an extra stitch because I split the ply. Otherwise, it's fine. It's going to be so pretty. Look at that. It's just, I love it. It's so pretty.
What is the color that's like right up your alley?
Yeah, I would call this, it's not peacock because there's no purple in a peacock.
Mm-hmm.
But
yes, there is. Sorry about that. I didn't turn the sound back on.
we're back. We had a little bit of the camera was tired.
And it decided it was taking a nap.
I just finished with the Sherwood shawl, so you already saw it, and we're going to move on to Taya's.
Okie dokie. So, oh, hey, how about that? It was this one.
What about that?
So this is the Diana's Blocks, which is a Stitch in Time blanket by K.F. Jones. I'm using scrap finger and weight yarns, 45 stitch count for each square, and I'm making so many Diana's hats that I figure I need a blanket for the leftovers.
A whole blanket or just a block?
No blankets. I'll just do a block at a time, though. None of these were actually used in Diana's hats. This is what I consider my Bakery Bears square. So
I thought you were going to make it so they were all yarn used with Diana's hat.
No.
Oh, okay.
It was what prompted.
Okay.
So, this one here was used in a shawl that was designed by Kay, as was this one. These are all West Yorkshire spinners on the bottom, which I picked up because of Dana Kay's podcast. And then this row here is opal, which I've never actually used in a project, but I picked up because of Bakery Bears. This square and this square is actually the same yarn, but they're working up very differently. And then this one here.
The whole square is the same? Which one is it?
This square and this square.
Oh, that's in this one and this one?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
This one has more purples and it has the red here. So it's going to work up very different, which I kind of thought it would. So I was like, oh, well, that worked out well that I have to do 2 squares of it.
Sometimes that happens if it's made up in a larger, the repeats are larger or longer.
Well, opal is a self-patterning yarn, too. So.
Right. But if it's got longer repeats, like you notice that when I do the mini skeins, you get the complete thing. But if I did a long one, you would only gotten part of it.
Yeah.
So, okay. Is that it for that?
That's it for that. So, the only thing I think I should have to mention is there will be 3 other squares after the one I'm working on, and then I will do an edging, and then I would start a new square.
Awesome. Okay, in my Silver Shed USA, I think this is a medium crocheting Hoovian Podiversary bag. Congratulations, Laura.
Mm-hmm.
Is my They Say It's Your Birthday project from the
And
We
what
Cupcake
year
Patterns.
is it? First Podiverse? No, it's not first Podiverse.
I think it's
Does it say on
second.
there?
Happy Place. How y'all doing? Doesn't say a year.
I feel like it's been second.
It's at least a second because she's done Autism Awareness at least twice with us. This is the third one.
Okay.
I think this maybe it's the second one. I don't know. She's done it a couple times with us. Okay.
I can't keep track of how long people have been doing things.
This is... Well, I can't even keep track of how long we've been doing it.
I know.
Okay, so this is the sweater. I guess... I don't know. Anyway.
I think this is the top. Because
here's the armholes. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
So...
This is where the neck would be. The collar.
Yeah, it looks like it might be there. So, like that. It's coming along. I like this colorway. I like the way this is working up. Hopefully the fit won't be affected by the fact that I had to fudge a little bit because I somehow got off count. But it looks okay. And hopefully the baby will be fine in it. The next one I make, because I probably will make another one of these. It's not hard, and I like the fact that it's in the super bulky yarn because it goes fast. If I just sat down, I could probably do this in a couple hours.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's what it says on the pattern. And I'm using, this uses US 11s. I think I have a US 11s on it might be a 16 inch or maybe a 24. I think this is a 16 inch circular. So, and the yarn is Kim Dye's yarn cream in the cream puff. Let me see. Kim Dye's yarn cream puff bulky in the birthday sprinkles colorway, hence the name. Okay, and you can see
it does look kind of like birthday sprinkles.
Yeah, here's Cappy's mom's turtle stitch marker that she gave me. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Cappy. And then
I forgot to turn back the lights.
I think that this is a
Lights?
crocheting Hoovian.
Light. They should be able to see your thing better now. Sorry about that, guys.
There, the crocheting Hoovian stitch marker, and then these are just plastic ones to mark where the armholes are going to be.
Got really messed up by the camera cutting out earlier.
Yeah, it was having its little joke. Look at the inside of this. Isn't that cool? It's purple stitches.
You mean like a lavendery?
Yeah. Lavender, purple. Okay.
So, in my One in the Woman Cave 5-year anniversary bag by Silver Shed USA is 42, which is the Hitchhiker pattern by Martina Bam, and I'm using Marigold Jen BFL extra long sock in the colorway Sidewalk Chalk.
Sidewalk chalk?
I am having trouble. Sidewalk chalk. Yes, sideway chalk.
This is
like a sidewinder.
When we went to Walmart's, I saw some sidewalk chalk on sale, and some of them had the neat little holders, which I think is cool because I always hate the way chalk feels on my hands.
And I think because we didn't usually use this particular kind of sidewalk chalk. I mean, there were the ones we tended to use were just the plain color, but I know there were the brown ones that were multicolored. Mm-hmm. We just didn't tend to use them that much, personally. So I think she's going for the brown ones with the multicolored.
Isn't that pretty?
Yeah.
I love the way that.
And this is an addictive pattern to work on.
Is it hard to make the teeth?
No. No, and it's like an 8-row repeat.
Can you make it, do you think, in a different weight, or would it affect it? Like if I want to
Well,
make
Brittany made it in a different weight.
Did she?
Didn't she? Isn't the one that you have a different weight?
Brittany's the one you gave me fingering, or is it sport or something?
I think it was like sport. Yeah, you can do it in a different
I
weight.
want to make it Miss Babs. I make everything in Miss Babs.
But remember, since it's more of a scarf, you're probably not going to want to do as many teeth.
Yeah. And I don't know what my gauge is for knitting. I've never really checked.
So
I think I'm pretty close. The only time I checked was when I started and I was doing the swatches for Mel. Single-handed knits. Is she still podcasting?
I know. I feel like she stopped.
Yeah. Single-handed knits. Yeah, I haven't seen her. I know that they moved states. They were in Hawaii. They moved mainland. I don't know if they're still mainland or not because it's been a while. But okay. All right. This one is. I showed it to you last week. I hadn't started it last year. And this is my Impressionist shawl in my Impressionist bag. It's my Surratt bag, and that's what it's based on. And the Impressionist shawl is by Helen Stewart. Now, I don't know what it is about Helen Stewart's patterns. I love the way she writes it up, and it should be really easy to follow, but I constantly get off count. Constantly get off count. It's one of the reasons I never finished the Spindrift. But I do like this pattern. I think I'm not helping my case with this shawl by having these particular needles. The Knit Picks needles are the harmonies, and I keep losing my stitches. So I think what I'm going to do is order. I have some in a cart. 8s and 9s. I have to order 8s and 9s and 10s of needles, Chow Goos, because I love the Knit Picks. They're wonderful for things I don't want to be slippy, or if they're lighter colored, but I'm having a hard time seeing these green stitches on this wood. I need it to be on metal. So the pattern itself is really nice. It's not difficult. I just keep getting off count. So we'll see how this works up, and if I rip it out and start it again, or rip it out and work it up later. I'm behind already, but I expected that.
Right.
So
you weren't going to stress yourself.
no, I'm not stressing myself out. I already have a gazillion shawls on the needles. I really didn't need to put another one on, but I did.
But you had poor impulse control,
I did.
and that's the end of that story.
That's the end of that. And the yarn I'm using, they're all Miss Babs, and this is a fingering weight shawl. I don't care. Miss Babs in the colorways Nori, Fountain Pen, and Maryland Sheep and Wool 2017. So I showed them to you last week, so I'm not going to show them again. And I like the pattern. I don't want anyone to get the idea that Helen Stewart doesn't write a good pattern. She does. It's user error. I just keep getting off count. So that's that.
Well, the next one for me is actually my last one. And I called it King of Humbug, but looking back, I think in Greatest Showman, his hat actually said Prince of Humbug.
All I remember is Humbug. I don't remember what it said.
Yeah, I think it might have said Prince of Humbug, but it's already named King of Humbug, so I'm too lazy to change it. So this is Diana's hat pattern by Joanna Johnson, and I'm using Lady Franco Creations Merino Nylon Fingering in the colorway Barnum. And it's in my Silver Shed USA Rebel Scum bag. I don't know if I said this is Diana's hat. It is.
It's a what?
Diana's hat.
Right. Did you work on it all this week? Okay. I guess you did, yeah.
Because I think I was like...
Okay.
I didn't do nearly as much as I did. Well, I did so much of it on last week. I mean, I didn't even have it started, and I got so much done.
That's looking nice.
And this will probably get a fair amount of work at the cardiovascular conference. Honestly, I need to make sure I bring a second ball of yarn or another project, because...
Maybe bring a square or something.
Yeah, if I bring something like this, you're right, I could get a lot done. Actually, I should probably bring the other one with the bigger squares.
Yeah, but that's a big project, though, to bring with you.
That's not too bad.
That's huge, Taya.
Yeah. Whereas this one's not too bad.
You have to, because you have to seam it together. That one, so
yeah.
I mean,
I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But Because I could easily finish this during the cardiovascular conference. Especially since this is my going about and knitting. It always gets cold at those conferences too, so I might welcome the other thing on my lap.
Right. Well, you know, you decide when you get to it.
Yeah.
You have a couple days still.
Those conferences get cold. You alternate between like hot and cold. It's never completely comfortable.
Right. Okay, in my Pettis Kim Knits bag, she's one of her first bags that she made. Kim, are you still podcasting? She made this and I won it.
What was the name of the pod?
Pettis Kim Knits.
Was that the name? I do remember it.
This is my
I remember her.
This is my Sunshine baby hat. And this is using a Cindy Wood loom. Barely fits in here. And this is Woolies super bulky yarn. This is going to be a warm hat. This is supposed to be for 3 to 18 months. Feel that.
Hold on, I'm in the middle of a decrease. You asked me to feel something.
This is the yarn. I had to roll it into a ball because it was starting to come undone.
Alright, hold on. I'm gonna put
this is one of my acquisitions.
And what am I supposed to be feeling?
Feel how thick that is.
That is very thick.
It's a warm baby hat. They're probably going to have to put this away for next winter.
Yeah.
But it is definitely, and this is, like I said, it's definitely sunshiny. And I think I found what I need to do if I want to make an adult hat that doesn't make my ears cold. I have to use Woolies.
There you go.
This is 80% acrylic and 80% acrylic and 20% wool, I believe. Let's see.
I feel like I used Woolies for something at one point. I feel like it was an eon ago.
I don't have the ball band in here, but when I show you my acquisitions, I'll be able to tell you because I have more of it. And I
think I made your sweater, your big gray one that's like horrible, out of Woolies, maybe.
I don't think so.
Okay,
I think you got that from Knit Picks.
What did I use Woolies for? I used Woolies for something.
I mean, you might have, I suppose.
It might not have been that one. I made so many projects.
The only thing I don't like about this particular loom, I love the loom, but I need to be able to pull this thing out more. I had to tie it because I couldn't get the yarn around it. And some of them, well, actually, the Cindy Woods do have it. There's a loom that I picked up from somewhere that didn't have that, and I don't like that at all. I need to have the anchor peg. But this is a very, very tight knit. If I were to make a toy off of this, like an owl or something, I would use the Woolies because look, you won't see the stuffing really through it. It's a very, very thick, a very dense fabric, this Woolies. And it's not expensive. It's not a whole lot in there. I mean, I think there's 81 yards. This is super bulky.
I really feel like I've used Woolies for something. I wish I could remember what.
Maybe you did. I don't know.
I don't think I used the bulky.
Look at how thick this is. I mean,
it is very thick.
It's very thick.
Is it just one ply? No, there is
no,
ply.
I think it's more than one ply. It looks like it's twisted, so maybe
it is twisted. Okay, I just mislooked.
2 or 3 ply. I don't know. I'm sure it'll stay on the thing there. I'm gonna need to switch the bag out though because
you're gonna hurt that bag.
This is not made for this kind of a project. Okay.
Is that all your projects?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Do you have any FOs?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
I have 2 of them, but I'm not going to do them both together. So if you want to do it last, you better. Well, I guess I'm going to have to do them both together. Let me see here. Okay. The first one, as you notice, you probably realized that I have a baby loom hat done because I started a new one. And I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about this one here. And so I finished my caramel cream baby hat. So that's done. I have to take a picture of it so I can put it into the 18 hats for 2018 and then give it to Talia for the pregnancy center. That's one of my projects. And my other one, which I would have liked to have kept for last, but I think Talia's needs to go last, is in my Mama C Words bag. I finished Aurora.
Oh, you finished Aurora. Oh, look at her.
I think my gauge is getting a little tighter.
I think it is. Fly, little owl, fly. Fly, little owl.
Does she look okay sewed up and everything?
I think she does.
Yeah.
Fly, little owl. Your eyes are getting better, too.
Yeah. Well, my eyes have been better. I actually made a little mistake on this one, but I think it gives her character.
Fly, little owl.
So she's, let's see, DK weight. This my DK weight. think this might be, I don't know. It's hard to tell. This one I think I did the normal way, like you do it, so it's a little more rounded.
Yeah.
And I couldn't pull this one as tight, like I like to pull it around the neck.
Yeah.
I was afraid if I would pull it, it was going to snap.
Right.
So it's not quite as delineated as it usually is. It's more like yours.
Mm-hmm.
See, yours are a little... Yeah. So I'm happy with this.
This little guy's actually bulky.
Is he?
Mm-hmm.
My bulky yarn?
Yeah.
I have yarn to give you, actually.
Oh.
I have a
For
lot.
my blanket?
Yeah. We just give me back whatever you don't use.
Okay.
Do you want that one or do you want this one?
It doesn't really matter.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's about the same amount.
I think it is. If you want it for both blankets, just let me know.
Thank you. Yeah, I might just do that.
Because I have several of it. At least I do for the moment.
Mm-hmm.
How did that happen? I am very talented.
Wow.
Can you see this? It's
Good
knotted
job.
around my...
And she didn't do that on purpose.
I did not. Okay.
Did K-N-O-N-T? K-N-O-N-T.
K-N-O... Yes, whatever you said.
Not. Cannot.
Cannot. So that's done. I have 2 finished objects. How did that happen?
And I only have one, but it's a big one.
Yeah, it is.
So I finished Pug Hug.
Yay. Look at that.
So
That's so pretty.
my biggest issue after I finished it is it's really tight around here.
Well, where's where?
This green
Mm-hmm.
band. It was very tight putting on my head. So I blocked the living daylights out of this thing.
You know, Kay was saying she had problems with the colorwork hat that Dan did.
Uh-huh.
That the way the decreases and stuff were, it was fine along the ribbing, but it was really tight. Nobody can get it on in their house. Not even Bryony.
Yeah, and that's like this was a free pattern. So it didn't tell me. I don't think it told me measurements. I can't remember. It was a free pattern though. So there was an issue knowing exactly. But I blocked the heck out of it. Like, I really stretched. I found something that was about... Now, I have a big head. I have a 22-inch head.
I don't know what my head is.
Your head is...
What she said? Hydrocephalic head? Was that what she said?
Hydrocephalus is...
No, I know what hydrocephalus is, but what she said... She said...
Oh, you're talking about in...
On the town.
I can't remember what she said. So, Mom's head... Now, granted, we've got hair in the way because...
Well, we've got a clip that does affect it, but...
Even with the clip, your head is almost an inch smaller than mine.
Yeah?
Yeah, let me go down a little bit, but... Okay, with me going down a little bit even, you're about a half an inch, and that's with the clip.
With the clip here. I've got 2, Can you see what I have in my hair?
Yeah. So,
Of course, that would be how I wear the hat, though, so...
Mom's head, my head's a little bit on the larger side. Which, this hat, if I needed to fit somebody else besides me, could probably fairly easily fit someone else, not me. But I stretch it so it'll fit me. So I stretched it. And it does fit. It's more comfortable than it was. I found something that was about the size of my head, wet blocked it, and then dried it like that for 2 days. And then I would suggest folding the ribbing a little bit, like that.
But then it doesn't cover your ears as much.
Well, if I get cold...
Why would you fold the ribbing?
Well, if it's in your eyes.
Just pull it back, it'll slouch a little bit.
Or you could do it like this.
Mm-hmm. Now that works a little better.
Just fold it in the front. But,
Very pretty.
I joined a Facebook Fair Isle and other colorwork group, and they said, well, if it doesn't fit and you can't find anyone else's head it fits, you can make a tea cozy.
Right.
And when I mentioned that it fit, one of the girls was like, ah, darn, I was hoping for a really awesome tea cozy.
from Britain, right? Dan, color work, Facebook.
Yes.
Because he's on the Talia color work journey.
Yes, I need to see those. Has he started the video? I don't think he started the video.
I don't think so. Not yet.
But yeah, this turned out. I was very afraid it wouldn't fit, but now this is actually quite comfortable. So,
it's very pretty.
I'm happy with it. This was a lot of work. Particularly when the color work I prefer. This is Intarsia versus Fair Isle, and I prefer Fair Isle. I think that's what
I'm looking forward to Kay's hat coming out because it's color work, and it doesn't have any catching of floats. I think that might be a good starter project for me. So I have to learn the magic loop before that happens so I can close it up.
What I need to figure out is I didn't have any issues with my first hat with it being tight, so I'm not sure if it was just this hat. I'll just have to keep an eye on it. My mitts are a little bit tight, so I'm not sure. I'll just have to watch my color work.
Well, you might want to see, maybe you have to...
Now, the mitts, I know part of the problem was...
The wrong size.
Oh, I don't know. It didn't size them.
Oh, right. That's right. Because you didn't have the right size. But this one, it might be you have to go up like a half a needle size or something.
Well, I wonder if the fact that... Well, you see, I thought it would actually be big because it called for, like, Sport or DK, and this is actually Miss Babs.
Miss Babs and my DK.
Yeah. So I'm not quite sure. Thank heavens I used Miss Babs.
Right.
I mean, who knows what size it would have been.
Well, Katie and Dan were saying that, thankfully, that's superwash.
Yeah.
Because the reason that theirs doesn't want to get stretchy is because it's not superwash. It's just wool, and it's not stretching.
Yeah.
So it's uncomfortable to wear.
Yeah, and I was able to stretch the heck out of this. And that's what I was thinking. I was like, oh, thank God I used superwash.
So good to know if you're doing something and you're worried about maybe being too tight, superwash is probably the better option. For that, if you're worried about
and know your head measurement.
Know your head, know your head.
Know your head.
Yeah.
Not. But yeah, I blocked the heck out of this and this saved it. And look, they're so cute.
They are so cute. They're little puggy.
They're not little anything. Look how big those pugs are on
They're
there.
Little puggy buggies. Okay. All right. Okay. Do you have any stash enhancements?
No, I mean, I got stuff, but it wasn't anything I'd be showing on the podcast.
Okay, I do have a couple. This one I'll just kind of show briefly for my paper crafts. If you follow me on Instagram, you've seen that I've been doing some cards here and there, card making, and it was all scattered all over the place. I was tripping over it, so I found this at Walmart.
Do you need assistance?
I remember how I could open. Oh, here it is. Okay, and so
oh, that's nice, Mom.
It's got my paper stuff in it. I still haven't got it completely set up. I'm not like a seasoned card maker or paper crafter like Brittany or somebody or Maureen, but this will do for my stuff as I get started. I have a container for my stamps. I need to get a turtle stamp, a bunny stamp. I have an owl, but there are a couple things I want to get just to have little cute little things.
Bunny? You need multiple bunnies.
Only if I have multiple owls and turtles.
Nah.
But anyway, so this was one of them. One of my enhancements. Okay, the other one, you saw the yellow. These were like less than $3 a skein.
Wow, Mom.
I picked these up for hats, for charity hats. You saw the yellow. I'm hoping that one of these will do a 3 to 18-month baby hat. And I've got a video that shows me how to add colors if I want to do a bigger hat.
Are any of them big enough to do that baby sweater?
I
wasn't actually trying to grab one. That's just me talking.
I'm
with my
not
hands.
sure. I'd have to check the yardage on it. You mean the one I'm making right now?
Yeah.
That's a good point. But I can add into that easy enough. It's I know how to add that. So I have yellow and I have these colors, and I was going to pick up more colors, but I decided that was enough.
But I mean, it's the right weight.
Yes.
Okay.
I believe it's super bulky. I have to check.
That was more my query.
It's either super bulky or bulky. I know that there's chunky, and I'm not sure where chunky goes in terms of, super bulky, chunky. I know where roving is. That's bigger, but I get a little confused with the super bulky. let me see, to answer your question, they say it's your birthday. It's bulky.
Mm-hmm.
But that's easy enough to get. I can get that, wherever.
Yeah.
Okay. I did want to, before we go into, do you have anything for autobiography?
Not really.
Okay, I wanted to go into this. This is the book that Laura Smoot sent to us in her package. And there are things in here that I'm going to be reading every so often until we pass it on. And the thing I'm reading here, this is from 2015, so some of this might be a little dated, but some of them might still be applicable or current, okay? And this is the top 10 knitting projects as measured by appearing the most times as an ongoing project in users' Ravelry queue, okay? And this book is called Knitting Ephemera, all right? And some of these you will recognize as still being really popular, and you will recognize many of the designers. The first one is the Baby Surprise Jacket by Elizabeth Zimmerman, and that's a baby jacket. The second one is the Clapidus, I think that's how you say it, by Kate Gilbert, and that's a scarf stole. Fetching by Cheryl Niamath, those fingerless gloves. I never heard of that one.
No, I haven't heard of that one.
Hitchhiker by Martina Bem, that's a scarf, as if you didn't know. The Honey Cow by Antonia Shanklin, which is a cowl. The Monkey by Cookie A, which is socks.
Yeah, I'm familiar with those.
Calorimetry by Catherine Schorndorf. Headscarf. Calorimetry. Calorimetry? I don't know. Calorimetry. It's a headscarf, and if you have a question about that, if you're interested in that, just PM me. Okay. Number 8 is Turn a Square by Jared Flood, and that's a hat. And number 9 is Gaptastic Cowl by Jen Gigley. And if I didn't say that name right, I apologize. And then Sarcha's Booties is number 10 by Sarcha de Brujun, and that's baby booties. And I'm not sure I said her name right either. I'm sure I butchered her last name. But those are the 10 top ones as of 2015. Okay? So how many of you knit of those? I'm sure many of you have done the Hitchhiker, the Honey Cowl, the Monkey.
Although I'm familiar with a lot of them, the only one I've knit on that, and I still haven't ever finished it, is the Hitchhiker.
Right. I've got the Honey Cowl in my queue, and I've got the Hitchhiker in my queue. But I'd never heard of some of these, which is interesting, because I've been on since before 2015, so you'd think I would have heard some of these. Granted, I only started knitting seriously about the last year or so.
Yeah.
So that's Knitting Ephemera. And, okay, Etsy shop. I hope to get some yarn dyed up this week. I don't know if it'll be more of the Autism Awareness colorways. There might be some of that. I have other colorways kind of bouncing around in my head. I might have some plain ones coming up in terms of like tonals and things like that. We'll see. I'm not sure. But I didn't get to do any dyeing this weekend because I was just too busy doing other things, and time kind of got away from me. Life happened. I was, packaging up, shop orders for the Autism Awareness and things like that. So once again, I do appreciate everybody who's supporting that. I am sending a percentage of that to Autism Society, to all the Autism Awareness colorway sales. So, but I'll wait till the end of the Cal to do that in case I get more yarn sales from the Autism colorways. Okay. Okay, I guess I'm still doing I'm reading Heir to the Empire. I've gotten a lot. I'm about a little over halfway through, I think. Not because it's hard to read. I just have to sit down and read it. Right. And Patrick Carr's new novel is out. As soon as it comes down, I want to pick that up, so I need to finish this. And do you have anything else that you...
Not particularly, honestly.
Okay, we do. I haven't gotten to the YouTube comments, and I've only gotten to part of the Ravelry comments. Again, just...
We've read all of them and love them.
Oh, I love all the all the suggestions about what we say. That's so much fun. But I want to thank Maggie Fish 79, Donna, Sally, Andy, Ellis Craft, and Rena for their comments on YouTube.
Oh, thank you, people who mentioned about Answer Mom's questions about the slip stitches, because it's not a thing that not slip stitches, the drop stitches.
Yes.
It's not a thing that she and I normally do or would be inclined to do.
Yeah, it's not something that we like the look of necessarily, so we don't do it. That's why I was curious, and we appreciate all the response for that. You guys are great.
And once you guys wrote it down, it's like, oh, that makes so much sense.
Yes, now we get it. Okay, so you had an episode without a Sleepy Talia, and I wasn't overly tongue-tied, except when little Miss Thing over there made me.
I can't make anything.
I know that. That's why you have a hat, and that's why you have all this other kind of stuff, because you can't make anything.
That was my stomach.
I know what it was. You have a rude stomach. Okay, so anyway, before we get silly, we want to thank you for joining us for the Funa in the Woman Cave. I believe we will be podcasting on Monday next week.
That is the plan.
That is the plan. So we hope to see you here back next week. In the meantime, we wish you a very happy, blessed week full of knitting, crocheting, whatever it is that makes you happy. And we hope to see you here again next week. This is the Pen, Hook, and Needles podcast, episode 303, and that's a wrap.
Bye.